Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 2, Episode 231. Back home again. So happy to be home. Finally going to actually get some playtime in. I had forgotten how busy I am when we go visit family and how little playtime I get. And I totally overestimated the amount of time that I could have gotten at the tables. And I found that the only time I could have gotten to gamble was the time that I would normally be asleep, and it did not go well. The 3 nights that I was there, I believe 3 nights, I don't know, 3 or 4 nights that I was there, I barely slept more than I normally would in one night. So I did get a decent night's sleep last night, probably slept for 8 hours, maybe 7.5 hours, and I have a lot of energy this morning. I feel better. I had a real tough time driving home yesterday. The first 3 or 4 hours were really tough, and then I got my second wind, and the last 6 or 7 hours were a little bit better. This morning, woke up nice and early, got out the door nice and early. It is 30 degrees outside, and I am on my way. Not really much to say about what's happened already. I'm just going to move forward. I did like the way that I changed my bet spread there at the end. It felt good, and I may do that a little bit longer here. This is a 6-deck game that I'm going to be playing today, but it may be worth it to try what I was doing there. For one thing, staying at a low bet amount until I hit a true 2 is going to be a little bit less risk, less reward, but then jumping to 3 times the bet at a 2, 6 times the bet at a 4, and 9 times the bet at a 5 makes it more top heavy, and that's where you make your money anyway. So I may try that today for a little bit longer and see how that goes. I have a general plan for today. I know where I'm going, when I'm going, with the option of adding one more place, and I'm going to be seeing if I have any offers anywhere, which I don't think I do today, but we'll kind of check all that stuff on the way there. Right now, on my way to the first spot, and I'll be back with you shortly. Alright guys, I am back. I went to that place, and I had packed up all my casino cards for the trip, and I put them in my closet, and I forgot to get them out this morning, so I had to go get a new card made. And this company is related to the place I got banned from, and they're always making a big deal. Oh, did you know you're banned from there? So I went up there, and they were training someone, and I said to the lady, I said, oh, are you training someone? She said, yeah. I said, well, you're going to have something to teach her right now. And she didn't say anything, and she didn't show her anything, so I don't know if she just overlooked it or doesn't care or what, but I got a couple cards made. I went around, looked around, and I found 0, but when I walked in, I saw a must-hit buy for $500 that was borderline, and I said, well, let me just go no one's going to go for it right now at this level. Let me just walk around and decide what to do. So I walked around, I checked my entry points for it, and found that it was just a little bit low, and I convinced myself to go ahead and play it. So it's a $500 must-hit buy. I put 500 in the machine, and started spinning, and by the time it got to the true entry point, I was ahead $10. So I thought, okay, this is good. I'm getting tons of points here. I ran, thousands and thousands of dollars through. Got a lot of points. So I should be all right. I'm at the right entry point, and I'm ahead. So I kept on playing, and by the time that it hit, it didn't hit until I believe it was 499.01 or something like that, 499.21, something like that. That was right there. And this is one of the issues that's going on with these must-hit buys is they're totally misleading. You think it's going to hit between, you know, where it starts and 500, but it starts at $200, and there's no way that you have the same odds at 200 as you do at 499, meaning that every spin is equal. You don't have an equal chance of hitting at each level. So let's just assume, and I'm just giving you a number, this is not the number for this machine, do not use this number, but let's just assume that it goes up by 1 penny for every $5. Well, how many pennies are in 300? If it's going to go from 200 to 500 before it hits, that's 30,000 pennies. 30,000 pennies times $5. $150,000 is run through that machine before it hits that $500. If the machine is keeping only 10%, they're making $15,000 before they're paying you out. So understand that this is huge money here, and then the same machine has a $5,000 one, and you can imagine the money they're making on that. Anyway, generally with these machines and similar machines, they pay a little bit better toward the end. For me, it actually faltered toward the end and took money away from me toward the end. And after that play was over, I was minus $170. Okay, now it's okay. I mean, it's within range, and I was keeping track of this game. Also has little bonuses and all that, and I kept track of when it paid this much for the bonus, when it paid this range, and when it paid this range. And as I calculated it, it paid just below where it should have, so on average. So it wasn't totally unreasonable the way it was paying out. Anyway, I started walking around looking at some other things. There was one machine that I couldn't check earlier because someone was on it. I went up to that. I saw that it was just barely in range, played that, got $80 back on that. And then there's a similar machine like it, and I went to that one, played that one, and ended up getting another $30 or $40 on that. So now I'm within striking range, $50 away, $60 away from break even, and I'm not too concerned. And there's a new set of machines that I'm still experimenting with, and I was checking all the different ranges, and I found what I think is a play at $12 a spin. Now, understand the risk that I'm taking here, right? Because I don't have 10,000 spins on this. I don't have anything written up. I haven't been able to find anything online about this game, but I think it's in range. And I'm going to risk $12 a spin. I put the money in the machine. I had like $7.50 or $7.40, and I put that in the machine. I need to get to 800 to get even. And nervously, I gave it about 10 spins or so, and it hit what I wanted what I was chasing after, and it paid me $600. And by the time I got up from that machine, now I was ahead $539. So now I'm very happy, and I said, well, let's do one more lap. You know, I was in there for about an hour and 15 minutes. I was only expecting to be there for about half an hour. But when I played that must hit by, that took a long time to play. So I thought, let me go around one more time and double check everything before I leave, because things could have changed. So I did that, and I found one that I had passed up earlier because it's a pain in the butt to check it. You actually have to sit down, you have to put money in it, you have to do certain things to be able to see, you know, if it's playable or not. And I looked, and it was just barely there. And I looked down, it's $4 a spin, and I know this game, you could be in 200, 300 bets before this thing finally pays out. So I decided to play it. So I put in my voucher. I think it was like $1,339 or something like that. I'm pretty sure that was it. And I don't hit it until it gets down to $1,059. So now I'm grumpy. But it ended up paying okay, and I ended up losing a little bit on it, like $80. But I ended up walking away from the casino plus $451, so plus $451, and the money came from the most unlikely place, but everything worked out fine. And if I hadn't hit that 600, I don't think I would have played that last borderline play and lost the 80. So I probably would have left down $50 or so, but thankfully everything worked out fine. Now, something weird, as I was playing, and I'm hours away from where this other thing happened, you remember before I left for my trip, I had a ton of chips that needed to be cashed, and there was a lady that had a card that was equivalent to playing $2 million through, I didn't even say it was a lady in that episode, but it was, equivalent to $2 million run through machines. And I thought I saw her, but we looked at each other. She didn't seem to recognize me, but I'm pretty sure that was her. And she's at this place hours away from the other place. So my feeling about that person is that they have a lot of money. That's the way they look, and that they're a gambler. That's what their look is. But my feeling is that this person is a very smart person. Doesn't need to make a bunch of money. Does it for fun. Knows what she's talking about, what she's doing, and I could probably learn from her. But unfortunately, we're not really going to ever cross paths. So if we ever do, I'd be happy to talk to her about it. But I doubt that will happen. So anyway, right now I'm moving on to the next spot. I need to be home a little bit early because we have some appointments tonight, and actually my wife has some appointments this morning. She wasn't feeling well on the way home from the trip, and she went to the doctor this morning, or she's going to be going to the doctor this morning. So at any time I may be called back home, and I'm going to be 4 hours from home. So hopefully we get everything done early and get back home at a decent time. But I need to really chip away at my losses and move forward. So right now I'm going to let you go, and I'll be back after my next stop. Alright guys, I am back. Isn't this just beautiful? Some nice snow is falling, and it's sticking to the roadway, and there's cars backed up. It is just wonderful. It makes me just think about Christmas. It's so great. So we just got past a slow patch. Other direction, the road is closed, and it is snowing, and some of the snow is sticking, and it'll be an interesting drive home. So we'll see how it goes. I did not check the weather today. Snow was not even in mind at all, even though it was 30 degrees when I left. Right now it is 30 degrees still. So I guess it won't be much of a problem. It should warm up a little bit this afternoon while I'm in the casinos, and hopefully traffic won't be too bad when I leave. But as of right now, it's not the greatest. So anyway, closing in on the next spot here, and I'll be back to update you soon. Okay guys, I am back. I was in and out of there in a lot faster time than I wanted, actually, but extenuating circumstances. I walked in and looked around at some slot machines. I found a play on another progressive. It was both a $20 and $50 progressive, and I played that through. Ended up hitting the 20 twice and the 50 once, and only ended up with a profit of $15. So plus $15 there. Then I went to the blackjack high limit area. There was one $50 table open, sat down and started playing, and I won 10 out of the first 11 hands with a push on the last hand. So betting minimum, I was plus 500, and the running count was now a minus 20, which is a minus 4 true count. So I decided, probably not a good idea to stay. I've got my 500, so I took it and I left. So unfortunately, that place is the easiest for me to play, and I do the best at that place than any other place in this city. But am I going to play a running minus 20 with only one deck played so far? I decided that was not a good idea. So I ended up leaving. Now, something happened that's never happened to me before at this place, and that is I got a comp. Now, I play unrated, but the must hit by gave me enough points to get $5 in free food. So I do play with a card for slot machines, only if it's going to be a play that's going to take more than a few minutes. And so I went, and they had a place where I could get like a chorizo, egg and cheese little thing. I got that, and that's my breakfast, even though it's lunchtime. So right now, I just pulled into the next place. I have more time than I expected here. I've got about an hour and a half to 2 hours playtime before I have to worry about heading toward home. So gonna let you go. Hopefully have a nice hit, and we'll be back in the car soon. I'll be back with you. Okay guys, I am back. Oh man, I got a call from my wife. She's went to the doctor. She's got some kind of an infection from something in her teeth, and she's got to have a root canal, and it's causing all kinds of other issues. She thought she was very sick, ended up being from some kind of something with her gums or something, and then caused some kind of an infection, and then she needs a root canal as well. So, that's $2,100 you can say goodbye to. So I go into this place, and I see a machine I want to play right away. Play that and just get killed on that. And I spend the rest of my time just trying to get my money back. And I ended up leaving on the machines down 201. Just a really, really terrible variance on that machine, but it was a $30 a spin, and it pretty much paid 0% until I hit what I was going for, and then I kind of got skunked on that too. So anyway, then I went and played some blackjack. I was there for about 40 minutes or so. Pretty flat most of the time. I had some initial luck like I did at the other place. I was up like $700 almost immediately, but the count was still decent, so I stayed. And next thing you know, I'm down 700, and continued playing for a while until finally a guy came to my table, and he asked me if I minded if he started, if he played. And I said, well, if you don't mind, I only have about a deck to go. The count was like a running +10, so it was like a true 4 or 3.5 or something like that. So he said, yeah, I don't care. I've been losing at every table. I can wait a little longer. I said, good, because you're going to wait. I didn't say that, but that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this guy, I've been waiting all this time, all day. I haven't had good counts. I finally get a good count, and this guy wants to sit in on my table. But I did all right there. I ended up leaving at the end of that shoe plus 1,200. So that's good. Minus 201 on the slots, plus 1,200 on the blackjack. And then I sat down. I was looking at another machine before I left, and that's already included in the numbers I gave you. But I saw a lady playing one, and it was about to hit, but it hits two different ways. And she knew about the one way, and it was getting ready to pay her out on that. And I was just watching her and telling her how I like this game and stuff like that. And she was having a conversation with me about it. Meantime, I was just waiting for her to get up so I can sit down, because once what she's waiting for is done, within a couple spins, it's going to pay some more. And so I finished up the play that I was at, and I said, well, I'm getting up, hoping for her to say, yeah, I just finished mine too, I'm leaving too. But she spun it a few more times and hit it. So then as I was getting up, this one guy was playing this fireball game. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it before, but it's kind of like, if you get 4 fireballs, it does all these free spins, and you get whatever money is on the screen. It's not anything you can take advantage of unless it's, just say it's not. It's 99.99999% chance it's not. So anyway, there was a situation where there's a jackpot on that thing called a mega jackpot. It was $11,000, and in his list of money that he could win, the mega was in there. So that got my attention, and he needed to hit 5 more fireballs to hit it. Of course, he hits 4, but I really thought he was going to hit it, because you never see that on a board. So I thought he was going to hit it, so I watched it for a minute, and of course he was disappointed, but it was interesting to watch. So right now I'm at the next spot, and I'm going to hop in there, hopefully make some money. I got about an hour before I have to leave here, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. Let me see here. I have this thing set.
Take the next.
Okay, sorry about that. So I go into this place. I've got like 40 or 45 minutes table time available to myself. I thought probably not going to take that much time. Usually this place doesn't have any playable games anyway. I come in and there's a perfect game that just opened. It looks like someone played about 10 cards, so probably played one hand, and that was it. So I decided to sit down. It was a $100 table, and I decided to spread one hand at 100 up to two hands of 500. I used basically the same structure that I did the other day, but I want 100, 300, 500. 100, 300, 400, 500. So 1 by 100, 2 by 100, 2 by 3, 2 by 4, 2 by 5. That's how I bet it. So initially I get to the table, quick success, 500, 600. I'm up ahead, everything is good. The count is good. It starts creeping up. I start raising my bet. Actually, the first shoe, the beginning of it was good. The rest of it was not good. I had low counts throughout. The next shoe and the one after that is when the count started going up. I started getting some nice counts. And there was a point where, so after that initial success, I had a big drop. I had bought in for 500 initially, got it up to like 12 or 1300, somewhere in there. And then I ended up buying in for more and more. And by the end of the second or third shoe, I was in for over 2,000. And then I had a couple bigger rebuys, and I ended up in total for a total of $4,000. Now, I was in for 3,500. I had two hands out there at 400 a hand, and I had a 20 on the first hand. I had two sevens on the second hand against a 7, and I split it. And I even said it out loud. I said, it's a shame I got to split these two to hopefully break even on them. First one, I get an ace. I'm happy. Second one, I end up busting. And then the dealer gets a 20 or 21. It must have been a 21. And took away $1,200 there. So anyway, lots of ups and downs. And then I get to a point where I have a shoe with a decent count, like a plus 16, 17, with 3 decks to go, maybe 2.5 decks. So I'm looking at a true 5, true 6, somewhere in that range. And I've got my max bets out there. And this guy walks up, and he sees me betting that way. And he watches me for 2 hands. Then he throws his money on the table. And I'm like, what are you thinking? And I looked at him right in the eyes. And he looked at me and he said, do you want me to wait? And I said, if you don't mind, just till the end of the shoe. And, obviously if I had a negative count, he's welcome to come in and share those negative counts with me. But things were looking good. I was on an upswing. I had bought in for a total of 4,000. I was only down about 1,500 at that point. But he had already given the dealer the money, so she counted out $5,000, buys in for that. He sits out till the end of the shoe. By the end of the shoe, I'm up $100. I'm not going anywhere. I'm up 100. Now, time-wise, I'm in big trouble. I'm in a big pinch time-wise. I initially played slots first. I'd lost a little bit. I ended down like $92 on slots. But and then I went back to the blackjack area. My time is getting tight. I'm up 100, but I'm like, the last couple shoes, counts have been good. I'm just going to keep on playing. The next shoe, now I'm playing with this guy. I started at 2 by 200 on the first hand because that's how I finished up the last shoe. And then I went down to one hand when I lost the first hand or something. I don't know. But I went down to one hand after that. So he goes down to one hand. But I go up to 2 hands. He goes up to 2 hands. I'm thinking, this guy doesn't play like he's counting, but let me pay attention a little bit more. He wasn't counting. In fact, he was playing the side bets in such a severe way. He was maximizing the bet on the side bet, which I think is $300 on the side bet. Playing 2 hands, generally playing between 300 and 1,000 a hand, most of the time 600 or 700 a hand. with 300 on each side bet, and he hit that thing a couple times. One time for 7,500, and the worst thing is I have to put up with him talking to me about playing the side bet, because I hit the top side bet 3 times in one shoe, and he's shaking his head, the dealer's shaking her head at me, and I'm like, my excuse always when they ask me about playing the side bet is, I can't even win the 50-50 hand. How am I going to win a side bet? And anyway, the end of the next shoe, I'm down to like minus probably 2,800, and then next shoe, I'm getting close to even. I'm like, come on, just get me above even. I'm out of time here. And by the time the shoe ended, I was plus 750. So I decided to take off. Now I have a problem. I can't cash out more than like 2,000 or 2,500 at this place anymore. Used to be 3,000. Now they seem to be tightening up. So I give it a shot. I go out up there with 2,600 just to kind of feel them out, to see if 2,500 or 2,600 is their limit. And she asked me for ID. She asked me for a player's card, and I said, no, I don't have a player's card. She calls the guy over. She said MTR or something like that, money something, I don't know. But so the guy comes over, and I said, oh, I know this guy, just trying to lighten the mood, you know. He's like, yeah, but I don't know you. I'm like, well, you know, I like my privacy. So he goes off to a computer and types a bunch of stuff in, doesn't pull up my picture or anything, types a bunch of stuff in, must have put in description or something, and then he tells her to go ahead. She pays me out. I go around, I look at a few more slots on my way out, and then I notice the poker room is open again. It hasn't been open in quite a while. I go over there, and all the tables are closed. There's no one playing, but there's people using the cashier. So I give her $650 in chips, and I said, oh, you can't take $500 chips, right? Because if she said yes, I can. I was going to give her all of them, but if she said no, then I would take the purple back and give her just the 150. She said, no, I can, just not 1,000. I said, oh, you can take 500, just not 1,000? She said, no, I can't take over $1,000 total. So that's all I could do was the 650. I did that, and I'm walking away with 1,500 in chips. So the way it ended up is slots minus 92, blackjack plus 750, spreading from one hand at 100 to 2 hands at 500. The low for the session was minus 3,400, and the high for the session was plus 750, and I played for about 45 minutes, somewhere in there. So then I look at the time, and oh man, I'm so late. I got to get somewhere for my kids' stuff, and I got to make sure I get there in time. There's no time. My wife sends me a text message, you're still going to make it to whatever, right? I'm like, I don't know. Where do I have to be and when? She gives me the time. I punch it in the GPS. I've got basically 17 minutes to spare between here and there if I don't go home, if I go straight there. Now, problem number one, we have no gas. I got 34 miles range, so I have to at least stop for gas. So hopefully find a place that's right off the highway, cheap, everything else, all my criteria. And then number two, I have one casino on the way home that I can hit. I may be okay being 5 or 10 minutes late to this thing, so it might be okay. I think it's a game. I didn't want to ask her what I was going to be late for, because then that would make things worse. Just the fact that I didn't know the time was bad enough. So I am heading back toward home, looking for gas, and I'll need to find some food sometime, and then just depending on how traffic is, I'll stop at that one last casino. The temperature right now is 32 degrees. There's still snow on the ground, but not much. So I think I'm in pretty good shape. The only part I'm worried about is the traffic in about 20 miles. And we'll see how that goes. If that's all clear, then I'm in good shape. So right now, I'm going to let you go, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. I am still on my way here. I did stop and get some gas. Feel a lot better now. Got plenty of range. I'm still a few hundred miles away from home right now, so I'm hustling to get there in time. As it is right now, if I do not stop at a casino, I'm going to have 2 minutes to spare So we're gonna have to pick up some time here because we need to stop and make some money. So I've got almost 3 hours here of driving, but the next place is only about another hour from here. So if I can pick up 5 or 6 minutes in the next hour, we can stop at this place and run through briefly, hopefully find some kind of a play and get in and out of there and continue on. I told you last night on the drive home, I was pretty tired at first, but things got better as I went. When I got home, we have the Nest thermostat, and I had set it to off while we were gone. So the night before we came back home, I turned it back on, set it to 58 degrees, and then slowly throughout the day raised it. We got home, it was still about 66 in the house, but eventually got to where it needed to be. But I slept like a rock last night. I mean, didn't move at all. All I know is I went to sleep, my wife was there, I woke up, my youngest was there. So my wife was on the couch and my youngest was sleeping next to me. But this morning I hurried and got out of the house real early. I didn't want to be late to all the stuff I had to do because I had to go so far today. Everything worked out really well. Thankfully, I didn't get stuck on any tables for too long. Everything went really well, so I'm very pleased about that. I was just thinking about that last stop that I just made. I was at or close to my max bet more than half the time I was at that table. It's just I was chopping or pushing or whatever. Win a hand, lose a hand, push them both, and I wasn't making any headway, but thankfully things worked out. Under normal circumstances, I probably would have stayed longer at that table, only because I had zero heat, and the pit boss is a friend of mine, and the dealer wasn't very talkative at all. I didn't care about that at all. But when you don't use your player's card, they're not supposed to tell you how much money you're involved for. But I saw him at the other side of the room. We made eye contact. I put 4 fingers up. He nodded. I just wanted to verify. And now I've counted my money and verified how much I was in. But it's good to have friends like that. So I get back to the car, and I'm putting these chips away in my little secret hiding place in the car. And I've got other chips for this city in the car I haven't cashed from before. So I got to get on that, not let it get out of control again. I remember a while back it was so ridiculous coming to the city with chips and no cash, or practically no cash, because I had 20 or 30,000 in chips, and I'd come up with or come over with like $1,000 in cash, and the rest was all chips. So anyway, the snow is back and it's picked up and making visibility not so great. So trying to pick up some time here. I'll be back with you here in a little while when I get close to the next stop. The next stop is right off the highway, so there's no time added for that stop other than walking in, walking out. So if I can pick up enough minutes here, we'll be okay. Now I'm looking at the map. I'm not seeing, well, I am seeing actually a slowdown ahead. So if I get lucky enough that the slowdown is gone by the time I get there, that's going to add 8 minutes to my time here, and free up 8 minutes. So I don't know how much further it is. I would estimate, looking at the map, it's only about 5 or 6 miles away. So hopefully when I get there, it's not so bad. All right, so I'm going to let you go for now, and I'll be back. Okay, guys, I am back. By the time I got to the casino, I had 9 minutes to spare, only 9 minutes. So what would you do? Of course I went in. I went in, looked at everything that I could, played a couple games, and walked around, saw somebody I knew, told him that I didn't have time to talk right now, but I'd be back maybe later on in the week, and we could hang out then and talk. Ended up $24 on the slots while I was there, and I noticed I had a food coupon, So I use that for a stack of candy bars. So just something to have in the car just in case I'm hungry and don't have time to stop. So all that was okay. So when I pulled off the highway, I had 9 minutes to spare, and right now I am looking at being 11 minutes behind. So I'll be 11 minutes late to where I need to go, but I've got a long way to go, a couple hours, and I could probably gain most of that back. So right now I'm in a more congested area, but once I get to the wide open road, I'll be able to pick up some more speed and be able to get there a little bit sooner. So I feel like I have been out of breath all day long. Like I've been running from place to place to place all day, probably because I had an extra casino I could have gone to, but there was no way that was going to work out, obviously. I was lucky that the first casino was so quick in and out with those negative counts. But overall, I can't complain. If I had a day like this every day, I could make my goal working 2 or 3 days a week. So I can't complain. I'm up about, almost 2,400 for the day. And technically, how many hours did I really play? You're going to take off these 3 hours? Something like that. So can't really complain about any of that stuff. Still fine-tuning plans for the rest of the week. Things are going to be a little bit hectic. I've got this casino that I don't really like, that's out of the way, that gives me good offers, and I rarely go there, and I'm thinking about going there. Offers for slot play about $150, offers for table games about $50, free food while I'm there, like as much as I want, and I can never use a tenth of what's available. Free gift cards for showing up, all these different things. And I'm actually waiting for these offers to stop from this place because I don't go there very often, and one of its affiliates already stopped giving me offers. But once it does, there are other casinos in the area. I'm thinking about hitting all of them for maybe a day or two and just staying on the premises the whole time and just pounding the heck out of the machines and getting a nice tier score while I'm there and seeing what that does. The first time that I was at this place, I moved to their second highest tier just on that one day. So it could be done. So what else is going on? What's going on with you guys? Oh my goodness, just running. It did stop snowing. The temperature is still 30, so it's pretty much stayed the same all day long. I don't know what it's going to be like the rest of the week, but tomorrow is going to be a shorter day. I may combine that episode with Wednesday, which is going to be an extra long day. Tomorrow going to hit 1 or 2 casinos, and then we'll be working on plans for, we were planning on maybe I'm still going to the south very soon. We were planning on maybe going to Florida, but the tickets are so expensive right now. They're about $600 a person. I'd be in between $8,000 and $9,000 just for flights, based on the prices that I'm finding. So, and driving is out of the question because I'm not going to drive for a day and a half straight each direction to hang out there for 3 or 4 days. So that's out of the question. So we were thinking about maybe gutting and redoing one of our bedrooms in the house that week, or possibly going north, maybe Canada, maybe Wisconsin, Minnesota, somewhere like that. We're just thinking those things over right now, but nothing finalized yet. So anyway, I'm going to let you go for now. We can just wrap it up. If you have any questions or comments, it's mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you tomorrow.